Let's start with our first news. Sean Strickland's coach, Eric Nixick, recently opened up about Khamzat's time training with Sean, reflecting on what he called a tremendous competitive relationship between the two, with zero bad blood. Eric explained that during their sessions years ago, Sean and Khamzat pushed each other hard in a respectful way. There was great work ethic, no issues, just two killers getting better together. He emphasized that even though public trash talk has heated up since Khamzat rose in the middleweight ranks, there was never any personal beef. Looking ahead to the UFC 328 title fight, Eric broke down their preparation in detail. He revealed that Sean's camp is giving everything, focusing on specific counters to Khamzat's style. The team has been drilling hard to get Sean off the cage when Khamzat pushes him there. They're working on explosive get-ups to avoid being held down and practicing escapes and defense against the wrestling traps Khamzat sets with his chain takedowns and body locks. Eric believes Sean's elite takedown defense, cardio, and ability to stay standing will be key, but nothing is being left to chance. Every detail is being honed to neutralize Khamzat's relentless pressure and top control. Eric reflected on the dynamic between the two fighters, noting that they got along really well and pushed each other in a purely competitive environment. "I felt like it was more of a competitive environment than anything else," he said. "I honestly couldn't tell you where it kind of took a turn," he added with a laugh. Watching them train, Eric never considered that the two might actually fight each other. At the time, Khamzat was still fighting at 170, and the focus was simply on learning as much as possible from him. Eric emphasized the value Khamzat brought to the team. "He was a great addition to the room," Eric said. "We learned a lot from him, and he made the team better while he was here. It was an opportunity to observe, listen, and study the way he trains, especially his ground game and routes." Sean's camp continues to build on that foundation, combining his skills with strategic preparation to face Khamzat in what promises to be an intense showdown. Every drill, every sparring session, and every defensive tactic is aimed at giving Sean the edge he needs to succeed in this high-stakes matchup. Move on to another news. Aljamain Sterling recently shared his prediction for Lerone Murphy versus Movsar Evloev this weekend at UFC London. Alja previously fought Movsar at UFC 310 and lost via unanimous decision, but despite that loss, he's leaning toward Murphy getting the win. He explained that Murphy fights pretty, focusing on clean, technical striking rather than getting down and dirty. His goal is to dominate while keeping his face intact, staying sharp and precise. Movsar, on the other hand, is willing to go through the mud a little more, but most of his fights have shown he's predominantly a grappler. Alja noted that Movsar hasn't fought since December 2024, raising questions about how the layoff will affect him, especially against someone he used to train with in Lerone Murphy. Murphy has great kickboxing, excellent footwork, and impressive lateral movement, making him hard to hit. He also has a nice jab and occasionally throws a spinning back kick to keep opponents guessing. Alja feels that technically this should be Murphy's fight to win. However, he acknowledged that Movsar is a phenomenal talent with elite grappling skills that can pose serious challenges. The concern lies in whether Movsar can get to Murphy early enough to avoid taking too much damage. If Murphy can inflict early damage and manage takedowns effectively, staying in positions where he isn't getting punched heavily, he could win the rounds by damage and control. Sterling highlighted Murphy's experience defending takedowns, referencing his fight against Tukhunov, where he successfully neutralized several attempts and even secured a draw in challenging situations. The key factor is whether Movsar can cut off the cage and apply enough pressure against a fighter with Murphy's footwork and lateral movement. Sterling's analysis paints Murphy as the frontrunner in this matchup, combining sharp striking, solid defense, and smart ring control. Overall, Alja's insight emphasizes that while Movsar has the tools to threaten, Murphy's technique, precision, and strategy give him the edge in this bout. Every round will likely hinge on Murphy's ability to stay upright, deliver damage early, and survive any grappling exchanges with minimal loss. This fight promises to be a technical battle, showcasing Murphy's sharp striking and defense against Movsar's relentless grappling and pressure. Move on to another news. Sean O'Malley recently declared that he should be removed from the rankings if he doesn't score a knockout at the White House event. Ali is scheduled to face Ian Zahabi on the card, and during a recent episode of his podcast, Sugar made it clear that a decision win just isn't enough. "If I don't get a KO, I don't deserve to remain in the rankings," he said. He's been thinking about it for a while and pinpointed June 14th as the day he plans to deliver a beautiful KO. "There's just no other option," he added. "Winning a decision is a loss. If I win a decision, take me out of the rankings. I need a finish here, fellas." Ali also shared his thoughts on the recently announced showdown between Khamzat and Sean Strickland. He predicted the fight could play out similarly to Khamzat's bout against Duplessis, with Khamzat using his grappling to dominate Strickland. Ali explained that it's possible Khamzat could take Strickland down and control him without exposing himself to risky positions, like the front headlock. "It could be a similar fight to Duplessis, but I feel like Sean is going to make it fun. Crack him," he said. When discussing Strickland's grappling skills, Ali noted that while fans haven't seen much of it in fights, he's heard a lot about how good Sean Strickland is on the mat. In the gym, Strickland looks proficient and capable of handling high-level grapplers. Ali emphasized that this matchup will finally show the world how strong Strickland's wrestling and grappling really are. The anticipation is high because Strickland is known for being a very skilled grappler, but he typically keeps it hidden in his fights. Ali believes that the fight against Khamzat will reveal just how effective Strickland can be when pushed against a relentless opponent. Every takedown, every scramble, and every defensive maneuver will be tested. Overall, O'Malley is determined to make a statement with a knockout, while Strickland is set to demonstrate his grappling prowess against one of the most aggressive wrestlers in the division. Fans can expect an exciting clash of styles, with explosive striking, elite grappling, and high stakes on the line, making this White House event a can't-miss fight. Move on to another news. Dustin Poirier is looking absolutely massive following his retirement from MMA. After hanging up the gloves, Poirier revealed that he planned to get bigger and even mentioned he would consider TRT now that he's no longer competing in the UFC. It looks like he wasn't joking. Poirier recently shared a photo alongside Joe Rogan after appearing on his podcast, and what stood out most was his size. Dustin looks noticeably bigger than he did during his fighting career, even appearing larger than Rogan, who's no small guy himself. Fans in the comments were clearly shocked by Poirier's new physique, with one writing, "He wasn't lying about the TRT. Damn, Dustin, you big as now. Fight one last time in light heavyweight. Bro has to turn sideways to walk through doors." Another fan added, "Looking like a wall now, Dustin. The diamond coming for that light heavyweight belt." A third commented, "Goddamn, DP found a new hot sauce." In other news, Charles Oliveira's wife went off on Mauricio Ruffy following his recent comments. In an interview with Brazilian journalist Larrit de Viana, Ruffy criticized Oliveira's performance against Max Holloway at UFC 326, saying, "Charles did what nobody expected, which was to stick to him from start to finish. If you go in just to grab someone in the UFC business, you end up losing opportunities. Charles had an incredible fight, but surely the UFC won't want to see him grabbing and holding Conor McGregor, and Conor won't put himself in that position either." By MMA standards, this was mild criticism, but it still drew the attention of Victoria Brum, Charles's wife, who fired back on Instagram. Victoria wrote, "Then let's schedule the boxing match, because if you want to fight, this is MMA. There will be jiu-jitsu. Ruffy, don't come trying to surf on my husband's wave because he has more submissions than you have fights." Her response made it clear that the Oliveira camp stands behind Charles and his accomplishments, defending his strategy and skill set in the octagon. Fans were quick to react to both stories, amazed by Poirier's transformation and entertained by the fiery exchange between Oliveira's wife and Ruffy. Dustin's new size and presence hint at a whole new chapter in his post-UFC life, while Charles's camp continues to show that they won't back down from criticism, emphasizing skill, strategy, and respect for the sport. The MMA world is buzzing with reactions as fighters, fans, and personalities weigh in on these developments, keeping the spotlight on Poirier and Oliveira. Move on to another news. Bo Nickel is setting his sights on Anthony Hernandez as his next opponent. Despite being booked to face Kyle Dawes at the UFC White House event, Nickel revealed during a recent interview with Kamaru Usman and Henry Cejudo on the Pound for Pound podcast that he wants to test himself against Fluffy. He praised Hernandez's cardio and grappling, calling him a tough challenge and an interesting puzzle to solve inside the octagon. Nickel explained that while Hernandez is coming off a loss, he possesses a lot of impressive skills. Cardio's crazy, Nicole said. He's got good wrestling, good grappling, good striking. He's a guy that comes at you the whole time. He's not necessarily the crispest or cleanest, but he just keeps coming no matter what. That's the kind of challenge I want to figure out. How to solve that puzzle. His focus is on matching Hernandez's relentless pace while capitalizing on his own technical ability and strategy. This mindset reflects Nichols' desire to climb the rankings and make a statement in the division. He's intent on using every fight as a stepping stone, and taking on a fighter like Hernandez would test not only his skills, but also his endurance and fight IQ. The matchup is shaping up to be a high-paced, action-packed contest, with Nicol looking to control the fight while navigating Hernandez's constant pressure. Meanwhile, Colby Covington recently called out Nicol for a fight at welterweight, but Nicol has responded firmly, making it clear that his focus remains on progressing in his current division and taking on the opponents that push him the most. By targeting Hernandez next, Nicol is demonstrating a strategic approach, aiming for fights that will propel him forward while solidifying his reputation as one of the most well-rounded and fearless fighters in the UFC. Fans are excited to see Nicol face Hernandez, anticipating a clash of cardio, wrestling, and grappling skills that could define Nichols' path toward a title run. Every strike, every takedown, and every scramble will be critical as Nicol prepares to navigate one of the most relentless styles in the division. With focus, skill, and determination, Nicol is ready to make his mark and take on any challenge in his way, proving why he's one of the most exciting fighters to watch in the UFC today. Move on to another news. Khamzat and Jorge Masvidal recently got into a heated back and forth, igniting social media after Masvidal predicted that Sean Strickland would beat Khamzat in their scheduled clash at UFC 328 on May 9th. Khamzat didn't take kindly to the prediction and fired back on Instagram under a Defro MMA podcast clip, calling out the remarks and making it clear he was not impressed. Masvidal quickly responded with his own blistering comments, going off on Khamzat and criticizing his fighting style. He called him a crotch sniffer and emphasized that hugging opponents won't win fights. "You ain't going to kill nobody by hugging anybody to death," Masvidal said, pointing out that Khamzat's legacy seems more known for odd antics than actual performance. "Every time you've had a chance to prove somebody wrong, all you do is sniff crotches," he added, highlighting what he perceives as Khamzat's distractions outside the cage. Masvidal also took the opportunity to throw shots at Khamzat's conditioning, stating that his gas tank is trash and predicting that Sean Strickland is going to test it thoroughly. "Maybe keep your eyes on the prize and don't worry so much about me," Masvidal said, emphasizing that Khamzat should focus on his upcoming fights rather than social media drama. The comments underscored a personal rivalry that has escalated beyond the octagon, with fans eagerly watching every post, story, and clip as tensions rise. This exchange marks another chapter in Khamzat's growing list of public feuds, showcasing how his outspoken personality often clashes with fellow fighters. Masvidal's sharp criticism combines humor, insult, and strategy, aiming to undermine Khamzat's focus and highlight what he sees as weaknesses in both technique and preparation. The back and forth has generated significant buzz online, with fans dissecting every word, reaction, and implication for the upcoming fight card. The feud between Khamzat and Masvidal also shines a light on the mental game in MMA, where trash talk and social media wars play as much of a role as training camps and fight strategy. With UFC 328 approaching, the tension between these two stars adds an extra layer of drama and anticipation for fight night. Every comment, post, and response is fueling fan interest, keeping both fighters in the spotlight while setting the stage for intense action in the octagon. This heated exchange makes it clear that when Khamzat and his opponents clash, the story extends far beyond the cage, with personal pride, skill, and reputation all on the line. Move on to another news. Alex Pereira was recently asked about a potential super fight with Jon Jones and made it clear that he still believes the matchup will happen as long as he defeats Cyril Gunn at the UFC White House event. Pereira explained that the fight makes sense only if he wins because otherwise it would be too risky. "Alex is a dangerous guy," he said. "Why would he put himself on the line if the circumstances aren't right? But I believe if I win this fight, it's a big chance for that super fight." He emphasized that the opportunity is far from dead. Pereira pointed out that Jon Jones is still under UFC contract and isn't going anywhere anytime soon. "If you want to fight, who else is going to be against him?" he said, highlighting that the matchup is inevitable if he continues to win. This potential bout serves as a strong motivation for Pereira, but he also stressed the importance of staying focused on the present. "Right now, I forget everything else and I'm focused on this fight," he said. The Jon Jones fight is part of the long-term vision, but his immediate goal is victory over Gunn. Pereira's mindset reflects a mix of ambition and discipline, showing that while he has his eyes set on one of the biggest fights in MMA history, he understands the importance of taking things one step at a time. He reiterated that the Jon Jones matchup is still very much alive in his plans, but he refuses to let it distract him from the task at hand. Victory in the White House event is the key to opening that door and proving that he's ready for the challenge. This approach highlights Pereira's strategic thinking, balancing his drive for historic matchups with the necessary focus and preparation required to secure them. By concentrating on each fight as it comes, he ensures that he's fully prepared and mentally sharp, maximizing his chances to achieve both immediate success and long-term goals. Fans and analysts alike are watching closely, knowing that Pereira's path could soon lead to one of the most anticipated fights in recent MMA history, blending skill, determination, and high stakes into an electrifying prospect. His comments make it clear that the Jon Jones fight remains a real possibility, fueled by both ambition and calculated preparation.